Welcome back. In this lesson, we'll talk about filters. Filters are basically these effects you can apply to either parts of the image or the entire image. So when you think of filters in the 21st century or in contemporary times, you think of filters used for, apps like Instagram or maybe TikTok. I haven't used TikTok, so I can't say, but there are these apps that capture images with a camera, and you can apply these effects that enhance the image or change them up in any way you want. It doesn't have to be aesthetically pleasing, but it's changing up the image while not changing the image itself. So it's basically kind of a post-processing method that is applied over the image, right? Well, Photoshop filters are very similar, and filters in Photoshop can be pretty advanced, but pretty simple, all the way from blurring and vignettes to much more advanced filters, and you can even download filters and add them. You can distort, you can add noise, you can pixelate, you can render things. There's a lot that you can do. So in this video, we'll be going over some filters and ways to use filters, not specific filters, but ways to apply them and to change the parameters of. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so the first thing you would want to do is convert your layer, whatever layer you're working on, into a smart object. So right now, this is just one image, okay? It's just one image. So let's unlock this and then turn it into a smart object. So right click, okay, and then convert to smart object. And then as we have learned, if you convert it to a smart object, it doesn't become a destructive process, it becomes an additive process. So even when you apply filters to this image, you're not destroying the original image. We're just we're retaining the original image, but we're making, like, the computer saves the original image in memory and applies the filter to whatever you're seeing here, but it will always retain the original image, so you can actually always go back to it, and therefore it's an additive process. Okay, so once we have turned it into a smart object, we will go up here into the filter menu, and you can just apply filters right here. Okay, so that's the first method, or you can go into filter gallery. So let's try just applying a filter here. Okay, I'm gonna just do blur. I think most of you have already worked with Gaussian blur previously, so let's just use Gaussian blur for now. And if you click on Gaussian blur, you can you see this Gaussian blur settings panel, this window, and you can change the settings of it, right? There's only one setting you can change. It's a very simple filter. Let's look at maybe ripple. Okay, so if you do a ripple, you can set the amount of ripple, as you can see in this preview window. I can make it smaller. All right, this is what it's going to look like. And you can set the ripple size as well. If you go to stylize, you can also do oil paint, make it look like an oil paint. Okay, so this one has a lot more settings you can play with, right? So different filters will have different settings that you can play with. Whatever filter it is, you gotta play around with the settings. Don't just like settle with the default settings. You just gotta play around with it and see what you like. You just have to experiment with it. That's the only way that you know you're gonna get what you want. Don't try to like imagine it in your head. Actually apply it and see how it looks. Alright, so the current version of Photoshop also has adaptive wide angle, so you can kind of emulate a wide angle lens. See the distortion that happens? Okay, so that's a possibility. Okay. And there's also lens correction, so if you have lens distortion from using a wide angle lens, you can actually use this lens correction filter to fix that as well. There's also liquify, which you can you can freely transform people's bodies and faces. So you know, all those like those fake fitness models, that's all like using liquify. You can change people's body proportions with this. It's a very it's a powerful tool. Okay, so let's look at the filter gallery. Okay, if you look at the filter gallery, you can actually browse from filters. So you no longer have to bring up that filter menu and click on one, apply to one, and then whatnot. You can actually preview them right here. So this is a better alternative. If you don't know which filter you want to choose, this is a very useful tool for browsing filters. Okay, so let's try okay, I like accented edges, and then you can change the settings here. Okay, and then you can, yeah, just like play around with it, see what you like, and change these settings. You know, it works just like Instagram, like you've all used Instagram. Okay, so and then I click OK to apply, and because it's a smart object, it saves the original image, and the filter is applied over the image. Okay, so I can actually just turn it off and see what it looks like originally, and then turn it back on. Okay. Also, if it's from the filter gallery, it's applied like this under smart filters. Okay, so let's try doing another filter. I'm gonna do a distort, and then actually no, maybe pixelate, maybe crystallize. All right, so this is pretty cool. I can select the cell size. I don't make it too big. I still want to like recognize what the image is. Okay, so maybe like I'll leave it at like 10. Here, I'll type it in 10. Okay, and then press OK, and this is what I get. Okay, and because it's a smart object, it's actually applying the filters above the original image, so you can turn on and off the individual filters. This is really useful because, you know, maybe you've applied too many filters and you want to see which one you want to keep and which one you want to get rid of. Then you can select what you want to keep. Okay, and then you can just turn off all of them as well. Okay, so make sure you turn the layer into, or whatever layer you want to apply the filter to, into a smart object. If you have multiple layers, make sure you have to select the right layer. All right, just to review, let's try adding some more things to this image. Okay, so maybe I want to add a new layer, and I want to add text to this. Okay, so let's try this. Horizontal type mask tool. Okay, and then I'm gonna just write art 112. All right, and then let's select our font. Black, semi-condensed. 300. Move this maybe right there. Okay, And then I'm gonna apply. Okay, so let's transform this. Let's transform this selection. Transform selection right here. Okay. Oh, I chose the wrong layer. Okay, make sure you're in the right layer, layer 1, which is the empty one. This is just, you know, it's just review. Transform selection. Okay, I'm gonna... Oh, let's, No, that's not it. Shift. Okay, so press and hold Shift. Extend it. Alright. Okay, so here's my selection. With this selection, I'm gonna make an adjustment layer. Okay, so I'm gonna click on hue and saturation, and the hue and saturation layer is now applied to the to my selection of the text. Okay, and then from here I'm gonna change the hue and just mess with them some settings. Okay, maybe I'll turn the saturation down. Okay, maybe I'll just like make it slightly like that. Okay, all right, something like that. Okay, maybe I'll delete this layer. I didn't need this layer after all, so I'm just gonna delete it. Okay, and then I can move this around to wherever I see fit. All right, so this is what I have for now. Okay, as usual, play around with Photoshop and see what you can discover. It's always good to practice. Okay, so I'll see you in the next lesson.